Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Ms. Carranza and Mr. Grice's Algebra 1 class. Today we're going to be talking about section 3.6 notes, and that's equations involving decimals. So today our learning target is to be able to solve equations involving like terms that include decimals. So that's going to be the only difference today. And we want to remind you about the rule for rounding, which is 5 or more, raise the score, 4 or less, let it rest. So please have your calculators handy since you will be using them today. All right, when we have this problem, 12.67 plus 42.35x equals 5.34x plus 26.58. Remember that we want our variables on one side. So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is moving my 5.34x to the other side. Those guys cancel. We're left with 12.67. I'm getting my calculator out so I can do 42.35 minus 5.34, and we get 37.01 equals 26.58. Okay, my x is on the left-hand side, so I need to get rid of this 12.67, and we're left with 37.01x equals 26.58 minus 12.67, and you get 13.91. So far, not too bad. Divide by 37.01 x. So we got 13.91 divided by 37.01, and that equals 0.37. Let's see, 375844, and that keeps on going. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to round that number. And what we're going to round it to, I'm going to tell you in just a second. So after checking our notes, we're going to round this to 2 decimal places, okay? And if Mr. Grice would have read the directions right up here, he would have known that. So I'm rounding to the 7. I need to look at the 5. 5 or more, raise the score. So that means it's going to change to 0.38. And anytime that we round, we're going to use this little squiggly line, because that means approximately, okay? And that's it. Let's do another example, example number 2. I'm going to draw my line down the middle. I'm going to move my x to the left-hand side. Those guys cancel. So we have 4.65 plus 6.84, which gives us 11.49x, and everything else stays the same. Okay, here's my x. I'm going to get rid of the 4.79 because those cancel. And then we're left with 11.49x equals 13.57 plus 4.79, and that equals 18.36. Okay, I've got to divide by 11.49, and we're left with x equals, divide that by 11.49, 1.597, 1.597. So we have to round this. Okay, and the 7 says that it's 5 or more, so we can raise the score. So the 9 actually turns to a 10. So this is changing to 1.6. It would be 1.60, but you don't need that 0 there. Okay? Okay. So now number 3 and 4 are just like 1 and 2. Let's move on to a harder one. If you want to try those, you can look at the answers that are on the notes page. Okay? So what we're going to do first is we have to distribute. So we have 2 times 4.36, and that's 8.72, and it's going to be a negative 8.72. A negative times a negative is a positive. So 6.92 times 2 equals 13.84x, and nothing over here changed. I'm going to move my x's to the left side, so I'm going to line it up directly underneath the x. 13.84 minus 9.72 gives me 4.12. That negative 8.72 is still there, and 3.87. Okay, my x is on the left-hand side, so I need to get rid of that 8.72. And we're left with 4.12x equals 3.87 plus 8.72 and equals 12.59. Last step, almost the last step, because we might have to round. X equals 12.59 divided by 4.12, 3.005, or no, 3.055. So let's look at the 5. The 5 or more, raise the score. So x equals 3.06. Okay, so we're doing the same exact thing as we were before. It's just now we're using decimals. So we have to be very careful about those. All right, draw the line down the middle. You know, why don't you guys pause the video and try this one out and see how you do. Okay? Go ahead and press pause. Okay, and there's the worked out answer. Now, the first thing that we did was distribute to get those two guys. I moved my x to the opposite side and got negative 0.05x. I subtracted the 18 to both sides, and then I divided by negative 0.005. Now, if you look at my calculator, when we rounded that last thing, since it came to a terminating decimal and it stopped right there, I didn't round it, so that's why we're using that equal sign. Okay? All right, I'm going to do one more for you guys, and that's going to be it for today. And I'll we'll do 8 since we've got to distribute on that one. Draw the line. We have to distribute on the left-hand side. So y minus 0.45 equals 0.35y plus 0.35 times 2 gives us 0.7. Now remember, on the left-hand side that is 1y right there. Move my y's to up. I wrote that down wrong. 0.35y. 1 minus 0.35 gives us 0.65. 0.45 equals 0.7. I'm going to add the 0.45 to both sides. 0.65y equals 0.7 plus 0.45. You get 1.15. Divide by 0.65. And we get our final answer of 1.769. So x equals 1.769. 4 more raise to score. 1.77. Okay, now the rest of the answers are up on the website under the answer key. So if you guys have any questions, take a look at that first, and then come see Ms. Carranza or myself for any other questions. That's it for Algebra 3.6 notes. Thanks for watching, guys.